Hi, students. I am so glad that there are so many of you that want to start back up on English again. So welcome back. We're going to be trying something new. It's not the Ventures book. So this is in the background behind me. You see this website. I sent some of you already this link, but this is called, it's called Learning English. Up at the top, VOA News. So this is a site, and it's made for lots of people who are learning English, and it has so many different things, so many different articles, and so it was a little bit hard to choose something that we could all do together and talk about. But I chose this article for us to talk about together, for you to do, and I thought today I would just go through and try to explain a little bit about what this site has to offer. And I hope that we can all meet together on Friday, as many of you as can, for a Zoom call, or we might do it on something called Google Meet. But you don't need to worry about that right now. I'll be sending you the link, either for a Zoom call or for a Google Meetup. And I sure hope that you can do that. I'll be sending you the time and all the details later, maybe tomorrow or the next day. All right. So this article I thought you guys might like because it's about baking, and so many of you are so great at that. And lots of you that know me know that this is not my best thing. But you'll be happy to know that I have been cooking a little bit more since we've been in the house during quarantine. So the title of this article says, Baking is Good for Mental Health. And you see, as we scroll down, that this woman has a lot of fresh baked bread. And maybe that's not the way that the bread looks like typically from your country. I've had some great bread from some of your different countries that are so great, and I miss those right now. So the way that I would recommend that you do with articles like this, the first thing I recommend, let me move my picture out of the way. The first thing I recommend is to look at the picture before you read it. Well, read the title, like we just did. Baking is good for mental health. And think about that. Make sure you understand the words in that. And think about what that means. Baking is good for mental health. So this isn't just your body's health, but it's good for mental health. So your thinking. Mental health is really important too. And it's difficult right now when we have not been able to see one another. I hope you know that when I get to see you, this is good for my mental health. I enjoy that. And it's healthy for us, for all of us, to be able to see one another. We need each other. People need each other. I think that's how God's designed us. So now we have to do other things to try to stay healthy, to keep our minds and our hearts healthy. So that's the title. Then I would look at the picture and I would try to find everything that I can from the picture to give me clues about the story. So you see this girl, she has a whole tray full of bread. The bread looks good, it looks fresh. Okay, and then you might read the little bit below it. So it says, Laura Hallmark, owner of Strange Brew Coffee House, poses March 26th. This has been a little while ago, but everything in here is still true. It's still good information. With loaves of bread that she and her team made at the store in Tupelo, Mississippi. The coffee house has started making bread to help with the demand during the coronavirus outbreak. And it tells where they got the photo. Okay, now the next thing that I would probably do, just to give you the way, there's more than one way, of course, to do this, whatever helps you. But just giving you my ideas, my tips. You might notice that they are going to read it to you, so you can hit play. But before you do that, here's the article. They put some words in bold in dark print. Now, there's going to be some other words that you don't know too. So what you can do is, as you read, try to read the words. We've talked about this before, but try to read the words around it and try to understand what that word means from context, just from the whole situation and all the words around it. You might be able to just guess the meaning, and probably you will get it right. Here's another picture. You see all the baked goods. Maybe these are some muffins, some rolls. And then behind the window, what do you see? I see many people in a long line, and they're waiting to get this bread. And most of these people, in fact, it looks to me like all of these people have masks on, covering their nose and their mouth. So you've seen a lot of this, right? And maybe you have also waited in lines like this. So they are waiting. So you can tell this was during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. And it says, here's this one, people wearing masks gather to form a bread line at the Bread Alone outdoor market while maintaining social distance. That's one of the words that you've probably heard a lot on the news, where they talk about waiting 6 feet away from each other so that you, so that it's a safe distance, so that you do not get the germs from anyone who might have this COVID-19. Okay, so then as you scroll down in the article, there's going to be other pictures that you can look at. Someone who's baking. It says, Julia Ohana is a culinary therapist. She uses cooking and baking as therapy for her patients. It's going to explain more about it in the story. You probably have scenes like this at your house if you do some baking. And then there's also other places where the lettering is in bold print. Those are usually very important. Not the title of the whole thing, but like a little smaller title. Baking requires mindfulness. So mindfulness is like giving your full attention to what is right in front of you. So when you are baking, you are thinking about the baking. So maybe you are not worrying about other things because all your focus is on what you are doing. Baking is a labor. Labor means a type of work. It's like working. Baking is a labor of love. It's more baking. You see, this is a man making pies, maybe. Well, actually, it says, bakers prepare the dough with ingredients provided by families to prepare and bake special pita bread. So it's bread called in Albanian pitalka for iftar during the holy month of Ramadan in southern Kosovo city of Prizren on Friday, June 17th, 2017. So some of you might know more about this than I do. Here it says baking is emotional, so it is from the heart. Okay, at the bottom there will be a quiz that you can take at the end if you want to, and not for a grade, just for your information. But down here, you might want to look at these words before you read. These are words that will be in the story, and they give you a definition. And in the definition, they tell you the part of speech, if it's a noun, an adjective, a verb. You'll also be hearing them read these. So I think this is good because you can listen to this story more than one time, and that's good. All right, so that's how I would recommend doing it. So you'll be able to go up to the top. You can hit play and listen, and you can read along while you are listening. And I would do it more than one time, maybe 2, 3 times, as much as you want. If you get busy because of kids or your phone rings, you can just hit pause and then come back. No problem. Okay, so I wanted to show you that. That's the story that we can talk about on Friday. On Friday, we can also just talk about life, how you're doing. All right, so that is one thing I wanted you to see about this site. This reading is from the intermediate level, but there are also many good things on the beginner level. So I want to show you some things from there. All right, on the beginner level, you're going to see some lessons, okay? So these lessons are a little bit like a drama. And some of it might seem a little silly, but they are short lessons. And if I were you, I would start with, you see here it says level 1, and here it says level 2. So let's just look at what level 2 looks like, just for you to see. This is not an assignment. I just want to show you this is here. Maybe this is something you would like to do. So if I click here, my computer is a little bit slow. Okay. Now, this is a girl that is an actress. These are actors, and they are doing something so you can practice learning words and learning English. Now, down below, they give you what it's going to be about. They are co-workers, so these two work together, and the situation is about work and about budget cuts. So here's also the lesson, and down here, you can read the whole conversation, but I would just watch it. It's like a short movie, 5 minutes, that's all. In this, I'm going to scroll down to show you, they also show you all the words, and they give you lots of definitions. So this is really a good thing. I will just play a little bit just for you to see.
Oh, important meeting. Everyone must come. Oh. Well, back to work, and my boss has called a meeting. I wonder what it's about. Maybe we're all getting raises. Oh, there's Jonathan. Maybe he knows.
Hi, I'm Professor Bott. This video is all about work. People talk about jobs and things that happen at work. Your assignment is to find as many work words as you can. Don't worry, I'll help.
So, Jonathan, what do you think today's meeting is about? The email sounded important.
Well, I have heard people in the building talking about budget cuts.
Oh, budget cuts? Wait, who has been talking about budget cuts?
Mark, in accounting.
Mark in accounting? That's one person. That's not people.
I know, but...
Okay, I pushed pause I just wanted you to see what this is. So some of it might seem a little bit silly, and I know that we have this robot. It's kind of like like for a kid, but really the information is really good, and the English is not too slow, I don't think. And so there's a lot of new words, and I think it might be really good. Okay, so I think you might like it. So you can go from that. If you hit this back arrow, you can see that's the lesson about budget cuts. And below it, there are other things too. If you want to know about how to say certain sounds, they have this part. This is about how to pronounce certain sounds. This part is about new words. This is like very short videos. If you want to learn just one new word, you can click that. If you don't like that new word, there's an arrow here. You can just hit that. This gives you all the different new words that they have. They have so many, like panic. Maybe you just heard the word panic. You might remember when they were running out of toilet paper and everyone was worried about that. And so you might see this is probably what this is talking about. Really short videos that teach you new words. That's what all those are. So let's hit back. And then they have these videos called Ask a Teacher. So this is where students have written in and they ask a teacher, what's the difference between loose and lose? Okay, if you don't like that one, you can go on and hit this arrow, and there's lots of other questions. So this beginner section has a lot of things on grammar and on learning English, okay? The part where we had it, this is the link that I'm going to send you, has a lot about reading. So this is the part that I'm going to send you as your assignment. What I want you to do is to read this article, okay? Think about the words. If you have other words that you don't know and you still can't figure those out, send me a message about those so that I know. And then I can either write you back or we'll talk about those during our video call on Friday. I really hope that you can make it. I really miss seeing your faces, and I look forward to talking to you soon. I hope you have a really good week, and I will see you. I hope to see you really, really soon. All right then. Bye.